Friends, Romans, and Patriots, lend me your ears and strap on your tinfoil hats because it's time for the Gay Frog Chat. The Gay Frog Chat is a weekly panel discussion where we go into a different conspiracy. This week, I got a whole bunch of subjects that we're talking about, but I wanted to. Oh my God, bro. I'm so ecstatically happy about something that just fucking happened because it pissed so many people off. W. Helper was there, or is it Welper? I'm not sure. But I dropped in $5 on the Yankee Marshall chat that he just had to tell everyone that I'm doing the 300 Gay Frog Chat tonight, and you guys should come watch it and argue with me and tell me that I'm wrong and stuff. And he was doing a knife giveaway based upon people who drop in super chats, and I won the fucking knife.
Nice.
So everyone in the chat, everyone on Yankees chat was like, "Oh, Honda's stupid," because I was arguing with them and I was kind of trolling the chat and telling everyone that they're fucking gay and retarded. And which they are, honestly, most of them. There's a couple of them that aren't, but yeah, all the gay retards were super upset because I fucking won the knife that they wanted. And the funny thing is, like, the hilarious thing to me, I don't even like knives. I don't even care about knives. Like, I'm not a knife guy. So I took the thing that you love, and I like it.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? Ohio, how are you?
I have been better because I'm dealing with medication issues right now because my stupid ass pharmacy informed me that they are not covering my Tremfya anymore, which is not cool because I cannot pay $2,000 out of pocket for the shots that I have to take. And if I don't take those, my psoriasis comes back like a motherfucker. So now I got to call my dermatologist tomorrow, figure out what the hell's going on, and then call up the people that send my medication and be like, well, why didn't you send it to me today? So...
It's called Tremfya.
Trem, Trem.
Oh, I was like, damn, bro.
Yeah. There's a few of them that are they're all biological. It's that one. There is Humira, which gave me the colon cancer that I will never take again. And then there's a few other different ones on the market still. So, but this one's cleared me up pretty good. So it keeps me from having outbreaks. So that's good.
Something gave you colon cancer. One of the drugs you had to take gave that to you?
Yes. It was a known side effect. And because it was a known side effect, I couldn't sue the fuck out of them for giving me colon cancer. So,
oh my God, that's a horrible side effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thankfully they're like, oh, take Tremfya. It will cure your psoriasis. It also causes ass cancer and fucking AIDS, and you'll have seizures, and you'll probably die.
Disease.
Yeah. All the things. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
What's up, hatred?
Well, as I was saying before, I like 2 of my 4 eyes are okay. So that's the way I would put it. Things are okay, but I too am having medical issues.
Your whispering eye is having troubles?
One of them, yes, exactly. And then one of my regular eyes has got a giant sty on it.
I thought it was a mosquito bite.
I thought it was too. It's not. She looked underneath. They pulled my eyelid back. It was a sty. It could have been caused from mosquito bite. I don't know what it's caused by, but it's just a sty. They gave me good medicine. No pink eye, so it wasn't butt juice. That's good.
Tremfya may cause dizziness, gender dysphoria, or thoughts of suicide.
There's a lot of meds that do that, unfortunately.
The thoughts of suicide or the dysphoria?
I mean, there's a lot of these different. Well, it's a lot of the SSRIs that are on the market that'll do suicidal, homicidal thoughts and actions.
This drug will turn you gay.
Or like all the people who took Skyrizi, I think it was called, whatever it was for HPV, the HPV shot.
Uh-huh.
And then like everyone who got the HPV shot got cancer. I don't know about everybody, but a lot of people. Anyway, Crafty, what's up, man?
Well, just sore from pulling a 2-ton motor at work today.
Oh shit! You're one of them real boys who does real work.
I mean, maybe.
What do you work on? Like cats or something?
No, industrial electric compressors.
That's basically the same thing.
No.
Yeah, well, good to have you here, and I hope everyone's doing tonight. Guess what, guys? This is episode motherfucking 300 of the Gay Frog Chat. We have sat here and hit go live 300 times now and talked to you guys, everybody, about whatever's on my mind. It's kind of I don't know, like a news article dump / therapy session / I don't know what you'd call it. It's a lot of things. We do all kinds of things here, but 300 motherfucking episodes. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Very cool.
We appreciate you.
Yay. And I won Yankees knife. That's still making me fucking laugh, dude. The fact that like I never drop in super chats, and there's all these people who drop in super chats like every week, and they're like, "Oh, I hope I win the knife." Eat a dick, everybody. Anyway, I thought we would go into some news articles that I have curated for the chat tonight. If you guys don't mind. I mean, that's why we are here, right? Oops, that's the wrong button.
Is Twitter worth getting?
Is what?
Twitter worth getting?
You know, I like it because it's like the last place that you can go for free speech arguments about, and there's a lot of trolling there. There's a lot of people who are just there to fucking say the thing that makes people angry, because when you get angry about something, you click on it and you reply. So there's that going on Twitter, and that's always been part of Twitter, to be honest. However, if you want like to the minute updated information about current events that's going on, if you want raw unfiltered, like, you know, non-curated by the news fucking stuff about what's going on in the world, if you want to really know what's going on, that's where you got to be. There's nowhere else on the internet that I know of that has that level of just free information. You know, you go to Facebook, there's lots of stuff that they block and curate and do things with. If you go to YouTube, there's a lot of stuff that you can't talk about on YouTube that they get pissed about, or they don't necessarily give you a strike for it, but they'll definitely make it so that no one watches your fucking channel. You know what I mean? So no one sees it on YouTube. Versus on Twitter, and it all depends on who you follow too. That's the other thing. You kind of pick who you want information from, and that's what your feed is. So if like you are, for instance, like fucky Honda, I don't care what he has to say, you don't have to follow me on Twitter, and then you don't get the information that I share on Twitter. Versus if you're like, wow, I really like E Honda and I like what he has to say, you follow me on Twitter, and then you see everything that I repost or post. So
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thank you.
yeah, I actually really like Twitter, and I've been on Twitter for I don't know how long now, a couple, like 5-6 years, something like that, since I started going on it. It was shortly before Elon bought it, and then after he bought it, I'm like, oh, dude, this is the greatest place on the internet. So that's my opinion. It's 180 degrees opposite Reddit. I don't know about that. Reddit is kind of ran by like liberal gay faggots, you know, like literally, who have these like fucking crazy opinions about how the world is supposed to work, and have like the BLM flag and the gay pride flag and the Palestine flag and the fucking Ukraine flag. They got all the flags because they're a bunch of fags.
The worst thing about Reddit is the fact that it's based around your posting ability is based around how much karma you have on there, and they can basically downvote you to the point where you can only post like once every hour or something.
So did you guys know that 140,000 migrant children let into the country under the Biden administration are still missing and unknown as to where they are, if they're going to school, if they're vaccinated, if they're part of some grape gang thing, or if they're in some like jihadist training camp? Like, no one knows where 140,000 migrant children are in this country right now. Isn't that fucking kind of it's disturbing, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's extremely disturbing, and I guarantee a lot of them are actually in incinerators right now.
I mean, it just sucks because they're kids. I mean, like, forget the immigrant stats for a second. Like, 140,000 kids are missing.
Right. And, you know, I'm sure some of them are fine. It's just with their families or whatever, and they don't want to get bothered by the government that's, like, deporting people. I'm sure that's some portion of them, maybe even a large portion of them, maybe even more than half of them. I don't know. I don't know what the number is. But the point is, we don't know. We don't know what any of these kids are up to. We don't know what if they're with parents or relatives or child grooming rapists with fucking basements and padlocks. Like, we don't know what's going on with them. And it's very possible, if not extremely likely, that many of them are in the worst positions that anyone could possibly have been in there, you know, that you can possibly imagine. And there's no protections for them because we don't even know where they are.
I'm sure some of them were in Seth Green's hidden compartments.
Oh, I heard something about. Expound upon that. I don't know what happened with that. I just
So
heard something
years
about
ago, Isaac Cappy, before he was obviously murdered, and it was staged like suicide, he basically outed Seth Green as a pedophile because he was a friend of Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin at the time. And he talked about how he went to Seth Green's house one time, and Seth was like, "Hey, I want you to show you something." And he pulled back like this secret shelf that was on a bookshelf or something like that, and it basically turned into like a giant door. And he's like, "This is where we keep the children at." And then he admitted that that himself and his wife were both child molesters and basically human smugglers and stuff like that to this Isaac guy.
Well, the theory that's been floating around for a long time now is if you want to be successful in Hollywood, or if you want to be successful in like certain businesses, or if you want to be successful in politics, you have to bend the knee and kiss the ring. And what does that mean? That means them getting bones on you. They want bones in your closet that they know where are buried, so that if and when you come forward and try to out anybody else or do anything to the group, that they know exactly how to blackmail you. That means Epstein Island, and that's just one example. I honestly believe that Epstein was just the tip of the iceberg. I think that there's probably many Epstein-like characters and many island-like situations, be they islands or, you know, like mansions in the middle of the desert or whatever the fuck it is, where rich and powerful people have gone and done things that are unspeakable. And if they step out of line, those unspeakable things that they have done will come to public. If not, they're just murdered. I don't know. I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure.
Well,
But
even
that's
at, like,
the theory.
Even at the Hollywood like mansions and stuff like that, all they gotta do is take you into a bedroom someplace and there's just cameras in there, and they just get you to like be on camera getting a blowjob from some like 15, 16-year-old girl or something like that. Now they got your ass.
Well, and they were talking about this on Yankees chat. They're like, "Oh, the Epstein files that Trump is 100% in." It's like, okay, what do the Epstein files say about Trump? Oh, they actually say that Epstein hated Trump, that he fucking despised his ass, and that he was like gathering information on him and trying to do stuff, and like that he was following his campaign and getting campaign emails. Like, why is he in the Epstein files thousands of times? Oh, because the Trump campaign sends out like a daily fucking email, and all of those daily emails ended up in the email server for Epstein. So that's a whole bunch of them, and then a bunch of them are like emails of him talking shit about Trump. And as far as I understand, it was Speaker Johnson who came out it was like a year ago, who accidentally let slip that it was Trump who went state's evidence against Epstein the first time he got arrested, and that's why he got arrested the first time, that they had to then like give him a slap on the wrist and cover things up and let him go again. And then the theory is that Epstein was getting uppity and wanted to fucking turn state's evidence against other people that were involved with the Epstein thing. Right? And so they sent someone into his cell and made sure that he never talked to anybody, and then claimed it was some sort of a suicide. So, yeah. I don't know, bro. I don't have the answers. That one makes sense. That seems like a Occam's razor, though, given all the fucking information about it. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. Me no know. Act Blue logged $150,000 from an 88-year-old widow who owns no computer. 14,696 donations, she says, never happened. So if you guys don't know, Act Blue is this Democrat funding organization, super PAC type thing that gives money to different people of choice from the Democrat Party who are running for various positions. And there's long been allegations that they get their money through illegal means, one of the means that they do it is they find some poor old lady who doesn't have a computer, and then in her name do a bunch of donations to Act Blue, because she's never going to find out about it because she doesn't have a computer to even look it up in the first place, let alone like do a donation and verify that she's done other donations before. So they did 14,696 donations totaling 150,000. And that's the other thing. They're all like small denomination donations that on paper is like, oh, well, we are actually funded by the people because the average donation is like $25. Well, it's if you're doing fucking $25 donations per day per 88-year-old lady, you can stack up a whole bunch of money. And then the other theory is that a lot of this stuff is getting exposed and slowing down and stopping because they defunded fucking USAID. Because USAID was nothing but a shell organization that pretended to help like kids in Africa or pretended to help like gays basket weaving programs in fucking, Detroit or something. But really what they were doing was funneling money into the Democrat Party. They were taking publicly funded taxpayer money that was given to USAID and then funneling it through things like Act Blue so that they could then fund their people to get elected and smear campaigns and everything else that they're doing.
They were committing the same kind of money laundering during the 2020 stuff because it was BLM taking in billions and it was going straight to Act Blue then.
It's like, do we really believe that they were sending condoms to Gaza?
Do you think the Gazans know how to use condoms?
Yeah, they're called sheep.
Do they use the sheath for sheep? The sheep sheath?
I don't know. They have those genetically bred sheep that have like the really big butts.
Oh yeah, the fatback fucking sheeps. Those fucking-
That's so funny.
the booty sheeps. Have you seen them?
Yeah, that's really funny.
They seriously look like they got like fucking.
like they had a surgery specifically to do some big booty,
Brazilian butt lifts.
Yeah, they're.
like serious butt lifts, like big time.
It's true.
But they're soft.
Yeah.
They're real soft. So it's cool.
Or Clinton and Haiti. That's another good example, as Mr. Eduardo Espinoza is saying, because as far as I understand, the Clinton Foundation received hundreds of millions of dollars, like so much money after Haiti got hit by that earthquake that basically destroyed the whole fucking island, right? And they were supposed to go in there, and everyone was like, oh, well, we could give to this organization or that organization. They're like, the Clinton organization is actually doing a lot of the work that has to go with this. So if you really want to help the Haitian people, you should give money to the Clinton Foundation. And it was something like 1% of the money went to Haiti or something like that. It was some ridiculously low amount of money. Most of the people never got help. Most of the people who did get help weren't actually helped. They were like smuggling children out of Haiti into the United States for some reason, possibly to feed what we were talking about earlier.
There was also a lot of Haitian officials that were going to testify against Hillary that mysteriously suicided with 2 bullets in the back of their head.
How many people who have been close to Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or the Clinton Foundation have mysteriously died? It's some huge fucking number of people.
It's in the hundreds.
Yeah, it's a
At least.
ridiculous number of people.
There were definitely 90 confirmed.
Or Barack Obama's fucking chef who ended up beat up and drowned, and they're like, oh, he went for a swim.
In 2 or 3 feet of water, whatever it was there.
Yeah. And then fucking the next day, fucking Obama had bandages on his hand and like a black eye or something. And they're like, oh, that's a weird coincidence. Don't
Big
look
Mike
into that.
Gum.
He was the under siege cook or chef that Obama had.
He hired fucking Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
If he
remember
had Steven Seagal, he would have fucking it would have gone the other way.
Steven Seagal was the cook or whatever that had all the skills and shit. So yeah, that's who was Obama's guy trying to get him.
So this one's kind of sad. Horrible news. 12-year-old son of retired New York Police Department Sergeant Jacob Freites was shot dead by stray bullet in the Bronx. The shooter had dozens of prior arrests. Isn't that sad, dude? And the thing is, like Asmongold talks about this a lot. It's not the top 1% of people in the world that are causing most of the problems that you deal with on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff that they're up to that we wouldn't like. Obviously, like we were just talking about the Epstein files and like how do you get into these clubs and stuff like that. Yes. Okay, fine. Put that aside. On a daily basis, when you go to Walmart and you can't get your fucking deodorant because it's behind glass, that's not because of the top 1%. That's because of the bottom 1 or 2%. And a lot of these people who are in that bottom 1% who've been arrested fucking 25 times, they keep getting released. They keep getting slaps on the wrist. They keep getting second chances. Society has spent thousands and millions of dollars on them trying to get them to do the right thing, which they never fucking will, because they never will. And who pays the price? 12-year-old kids in the Bronx who get shot by stray bullets, you know?
This is why we need mandatory 3 strikes laws again, and in some cases 1 strike laws, depending on the severity of the crime.
Well, it's like there was a cop or something out. I think was it Portland, where the police chief came out and said like the guy that shot this officer was like a 40-time convicted felon, all violent offenses, and like known cop killer, and he's just been released over and over again on bail or bond.
Yeah, I mean that's such a common story that I don't even know what you're talking about, but I 100% believe it. You know what I mean?
There was also the one in Seattle, Washington, this past weekend. It was some festival that now the dumbass commie mayor there is getting into trouble because her retarded ass decided to turn off the surveillance footage cameras around the area to stop illegals from getting deported by ICE. And it led to a 15-year-old getting his hands on a P80 and going on a mass shooting and killing 3 people.
I thought that was a gang-related shootout.
It might have been, but I know the fact the kid they're looking for that was like 15 and he was in possession of a legal firearm and they're calling it a ghost gun.
And they definitely arrested that kid, so it's not like he got away, but
yeah.
But still, yeah, shit's fucked. Oh, we have super chat. Oh, is it Delaney? How do you say that? Delaney? Delina? I say capital punishment for all felons. That's maybe a little too far. I think
It
if
depends.
you're like a repeat felon, you know, like you've done some sort of violent crime felony and it's like the 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th time. I'm not sure exactly where you would draw the line, but it should definitely be like long prison sentences, if nothing else. And then depending on the crime, like if you like rape a kid, I don't think that you should get like 6 months in jail and then probation. We should just fucking put you in 6 inches of water and hold your head under it until you don't move anymore, you know?
I was just going to say all pedophiles just straight to the chamber.
I think all pedophiles, all rapists, like not just like, I don't know, like fucking molesting or something, you know, like there's different levels of rape, but if you're like a violent fucking forcible rapist who's like gone around and raped girls or women, yeah, dude, you're out. Or if you're a murderer, you know, like you murder people, I think it should be eye for an eye when it comes to that. And everyone should know that if you kill someone and we catch you, you're fucking dead meat. There's no appeal. Well, I mean, appeals process or whatever. Like, it's America. We have to have that kind of thing. We need to have a fair process to actually convict people so that we know that we're getting the right ones. However, if we have the right one, I think that there shouldn't be some way that you could be like, oh, well, he, you see, didn't know that what he was doing was wrong when he did it. And he's actually got some sort of a mental disability that made it so that we can put him in some sort of an institution instead of putting him in prison and then putting him to death. Like, no, I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care if it's you're too dumb to understand that you killed somebody and that it's wrong, or if you're like a violent criminal going around murdering people. Either way, the end result is people are dead and it's your fucking fault. Therefore, you're fucking dead too. Period. Now, if it's an accident, you know, like you're driving your car, you lose control. Drunk driving situations are kind of iffy, but I don't think anyone like means to do that. Maybe if it's like multiple times of drunk driving and you actually kill someone drunk driving a second time, it's like, all right, bro, like we gave you a chance there and fuck you. But I don't know, guys. What do you think about that?
I have different opinions on a lot of this stuff, especially when it comes to these people. Like, I don't know if you know who Bianca Ellis is. She was the black woman here in Ohio who walked up to a 3-year-old child named Julian Wood and his mother and stabbed him in the face and killed him. She was declared mentally unfit to stand trial for a while, and then she finally got convicted. I think she got life imprisonment here, if I'm not mistaken, which she got death penalty in the state. And these are the people that honestly need to be drawn and quartered, just ripped into 4 or 5 pieces.
Yeah, like if you kill a child, like you take a knife and stab a child in the neck and kill him, like that's it for you. You're done. We're not going to play games. And especially if it's like dead to rights, like there's no question that you did it. There's no ambiguity whether or not the person's guilty. We have it on video. We have the knife with your fingerprints. We have you fleeing the situation and lying to police. We know everything about it. It's time to just hang you. It's time to, I don't know, lethal injection, fucking firing squad, whatever you guys want to do.
Electric chair would be a good one to bring back.
See, here's Terry Davis with another retarded fucking take. I think the current laws we have are fine for violent felons. Say that to the father of this 12-year-old kid who got murdered by a fucking multiple-time violent felon who was released onto the streets again and again and again. 12-time, was it? How many times was he arrested? Yeah, over a dozen. Shooter has a dozen prior arrests. It's like, okay, you're fine with that. Got it. I guess you're a fucking retard. Anyway. White shooter, blame the person. Black shooter, blame the gun. Brown shooter, blame society. Trans shooter, blame the right.
Sounds about right.
It's not entirely wrong. I've definitely heard all of those things individually be true at least a couple of times. I don't know if they're true every time, but...
Well, it's like the Nashville shooter. They're blaming the school for, like, basically bullying it, whatever it was.
Was a woman trying to be a man.
Like when that black dude drove his car into the Christmas parade and killed like fucking 10 people.
Yeah, in Waukesha.
And all of the news articles were like, a car drove into a parade. It's like, no. That's not what happened.
Well, as we know, the best thing that happened with that piece of shit was that he got raped in prison.
Anyway. Bunch of retards out there. That's what I know. Oh, do you guys want to see the latest propaganda film from Iran? I do. I actually haven't watched this entire thing yet, but I watched part of it. So let's watch.
So excited.
Your empire is done. You started the war.
By the way, don't they all speak a different language there? So why are they doing this in English? So it's just for us, it's not for them? Okay, anyway.
You thought you would win. Now look at the mess that your country is in. Look at it. Your general's crying, your plan was a bust. The promises made are now turning to dust. Marco Rubio was sweating, he's grilled on the floor. They asked for the billions you wasted on war. You lied from day one, you keep capping a lot. But look at the straight, yeah, we got it on lock. Locked down. You're begging for mercy, you're begging for peace, while telling your media Iran wants to cease. You sure? You're losing the straight, you're losing the state. And now the whole public is drowning in hate. You told, stop talking about Epstein. Now listen to the crowd.
Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
Louder!
Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
Don't stop talking about
Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
louder!
Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
So what I'm hearing right now is that all of the people who were saying Epstein, 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 and Trump, Trump, Trump are just repeating Iranian propaganda. Got it.
You lied about Iran, said Navy is gone. You promised regime change from darkness to dawn. You're dreaming.
And isn't their entire Navy gone, by the way? Like, they don't have any fucking modern warships left. All they have is, like, some speedboats that they've cobbled together and a couple of fucking, like, rocket launching sites that have been buried in the desert that we can't find or didn't find before we blew everything else up, and maybe some drones that they haven't fired off yet. But as far as I
No,
understand,
they got a lot more than what they're telling us they have. Like,
Yeah.
well, as far as I understand, we blew up basically most of their shit. They might have some stuff left, but most of the stuff that they had is blown to smithereens. And like they can say like, oh, we're winning the war, but like if the shoe was on the other foot and there was some other country at war with the United States and they blew up basically every modern warship that we have, they completely obliterated our entire air force to the point where we didn't have any planes that could even fly, and the only thing we had was maybe a couple of rocket sites and a couple of drone sites left that we were fucking occasionally shooting rockets and drones from, they'd be saying that America is done. That you know how it is. You know what the score is.
Your beautiful B2s were flying so high, still shaking inside. You're about to cry. You stood on the stage, looking completely detached, saying, I don't care about voters, it's cash. Did he really say that? Yeah, he did. You care about ballrooms, luxury suites, while American families starve on the streets. Inflation is peaking, the economy's dead, but you worry about Israel instead. The corruption is deep, AIPAC's buying the state. Every politician's got a price on their plate. You're all just puppets dancing for funds while Iran is standing and holding the...
Okay, another point real quick. Why is, and this is my own theory, and you guys can tell me what you think. There's been an increase in the last couple of years in anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, anti-Jewish, basically fucking anti-Semitic rhetoric, saying that all of these things that are bad about Israel, all of these things that are bad about Jews, all of, and honestly, I think, where is that coming from? Well, how many people did we let in from the third world countries that came here and have ideologies that they've been born into and grown up with, wherein Jewish people are the worst people in the world and they want to eradicate them from the planet?
At least tens of millions.
And now they're in our society. They are on our Twitters and our Facebooks and our news feeds. And then the other part of it is, right, there's like influencers, people like me or bigger, who talk about things, who want to get more clicks, who want to get more support, who want to get money. And they are basically tailoring their presentations for these people because they know that they'll get clicks and watches. So it spreads this ideology to a lot of people who maybe were already on the fence about it or whatever and didn't really know what to think. And now they're hearing a bunch of people talk shit about Israel and about Jews and stuff. And they're like, oh, let's jump on that bandwagon, So I think a lot of it is because we let third worlders into our country. What do you guys think?
That's exactly what it is. And unfortunately, you're starting to see takeovers in parts of Texas now.
Well, I mean, they let all these people in under the last administration. That's why I think you really started seeing it. And all of a sudden, it's like we're anti-Israel. It's like, well, that was never the stance for 30 years. And now all of a sudden that we let all these people in and gave them citizenship and voting rights, like, oh, of course it's our problem now.
Yeah, like Ilhan Omar is in the fucking Senate, and she's got 10 million people in Minnesota who are all like, yes, we also hate the Jews, and we vote as a block. There's that going on.
Well, that's also her congressional district in Minnesota is also the biggest terrorist hotbed for Islamic terrorism outside of the Middle East.
That's scary.
Yay.
Terry Davis says, has anything changed in the Iran war in the last 3 months? Well, I'm pretty sure Iran's nuclear program is gone, and their entire Navy's gone, and their entire Air Force is gone, and their entire leadership is gone 2 or 3 times over. So they had like a whole leadership structure that got completely obliterated, and they got like new people in, and then they got obliterated, and then they got more new people in, and some of those people got murked. So I don't know if you would count any of those as changes in your retarded fucking upside down stupid world that you live in, but I would count those as changes. I mean, do you want Iran to have nukes? I don't.
Guns, you're losing the straight, you're losing the state, and now the whole public is drowning in hate. You told stop talking about Epstein. Now listen to the crowd.
Epstein, Epstein.
All right, this is gay. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Let's watch something more positive. The Great Scott Adams. We won't watch this whole thing, but he talks about the interface for
I've
reality.
heard about them in your... All right, at long last, the user interface for reality. Some of these things you're going to say, hey, I've heard about those. I've heard about them in your book, Win Bigly. I've heard about them in your book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. And I saw a few things in your latest book, Loser Think. And that is where you should go if you want any detail on these, but let me run through them. First, you must accept the frame, at least as a filter, that there could be a subjective reality and that you can manipulate it. Again, you might only be manipulating your own impression of reality, but that's good enough if it predicts well and gets you to a happy place. You should accept that systems work better than goals. People are telling me every day that after reading my book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, they implemented systems and it changed their life. This is one of the biggest buttons on the interface for life. If you don't like where you are and you want to go somewhere else, learn how to build systems for everything from your diet to your career to your social life to fitness, everything. And that's in this book if you want more details. Talent stacking, also from the same book. The idea that if you intelligently add new talents, you become not just a little bit better, but exponentially better because talents really explode your capability and your options. So this is one of the biggest buttons on the interface to reality. Now, you've seen these before, a few of them, but it's the totality of them that I'm trying to present. You've seen them individually. Affirmations, the idea of writing down or visualizing your goals, seems to be something that gives you the impression that it works. And I say that very carefully. Does it work? Do affirmations change reality? I don't know. But I can tell you that when I've used them, the results I've gotten don't seem like anything could have been natural. I mean, I cured an incurable voice problem. I had ridiculous stock market luck when I used the affirmations. My career, as I told you, is just crazy. And it feels like it works, but I'm not going to tell you it does. Again, you should see these as filters. If it feels like it works, keep doing it. All right. You should know that the mating instinct is the base of pretty much all of your impulses. So if you haven't learned that pretty much everything from the way you talk, present yourself, hold yourself, dress, everything you do is some kind of expression of your mating instinct, whether you like it or not. Everything you show off about, everything that you don't want to show if you have a flaw, pretty much everything you do comes back to wanting to look good and present yourself well for mating purposes. Once you understand that, you start to understand where the buttons are, all right? Because you'll say, oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll see it everywhere. And it's like the veil will come off and you'll start seeing everybody's actions as, wait a minute, why is it everything is compatible with that showing off for mating purposes situation?
So I'm going to stop it there. If you guys want to go further into this, I would definitely highly recommend that you look into his books and a lot of the things that he's talking about. One of the things that he is specifically talking about, though, is that Scott Adams was one of the believers of what would you call it? Like reality isn't actually reality, that we're not in base reality, that we're in some sort of a simulation. And because we're in a simulation, you can manipulate things like you're in the Matrix, right? And here are the ways that you do it. You understand mating instincts, that a lot of our base, fears and motivations come from that. Affirmations may or may not be real, but it seems like when you make affirmations about, like, I don't know, getting a promotion, like I'm going to get a promotion, I'm going to get a promotion. You write it down 10 times every morning and you're thinking about it. You go through your day and you do things that you wouldn't have done otherwise because you're thinking about that, which then leads to the thing that you were affirming. So whether it's a side effect of us living in a alternate reality, or if it's a side effect of you just paying attention to things differently because you're affirming it, it works. Talent stacking is like, okay, I want to be like bigger on YouTube. So what talents can I get good at? Well, I could get good at talking. I could, try to make my appearance better, my background better. I could get better at editing videos, and all of those things are stacks of talent that go on to a specific thing that you're trying to do, right? Versus if you're just like shooting, like, oh, I'm good at this and I'm good at that, but none of them stack up together. Like, that's what he's talking about, talent stacking. Systems versus goals. Like, goals would be like, hey, I want to get that promotion. The system would be like, all right, well, my system is going to be, I'm going to show up early every day. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to bring a notepad and make notes about things and follow up on stuff. And like all of these things are systems that are going to help you achieve the goal. And then the goal just happens naturally because of the systems that you've implemented. And accepting the frame is just subjective reality, right? It's just understanding where you're at and where you're going and what you're trying to do. So, and all of these things are true. Like, there's nothing that he's talking about that's not true, but I would highly recommend, and the great Scott Adams is no longer with us. His knowledge has been passed down through hundreds of videos that he made, and they're all still out there on the internet, and books that you can read. And I highly recommend Scott Adams to anybody who listens. That is all.
How did he pass?
He had colon cancer that metastasized to his bones.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the best ones he had on that list of stuff
Or
was pattern
prostate
recognition.
I didn't hear you. You were talked over.
Pattern recognition. And I said
Yeah.
it was actually prostate cancer. Sorry.
Copy.
Anyway, I would highly recommend Mr. Scott Adams. And then fucking retarded faggot in the chat said China gave them more centrifuges. And I double checked your information while we were looking there, and there is no evidence, no public evidence that shows China directly gave supporting centrifuges to Iran after recent attacks. Iran enriched facilities have been hit multiple times since 2021. The 2025 strikes have caused major damage. Iran has indigenous centrifuge manufacturing and has moved some deep underground, but China hasn't gave them anything. So I don't know where you got your information from, but you're fucking wrong. That is all there.
One thing I will say, and this is my own personal knock at Trump in the past week or so, is him talking about giving Saudi Arabia nuclear weaponry now.
Which leads to this poll, which I voted a certain way, but what do you guys think? What do you want as a higher priority, to hold as a higher priority for the Trump administration? Foreign policy or domestic agenda?
Domestic.
And overwhelmingly, everyone's saying domestic agenda, because there's a lot of things that have happened foreign policy-wise that Trump has been dealing with and talking about and moving forward with and so on and so forth that really haven't helped the domestic agenda very much. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there, and I said this before Trump got actually into office, after he got elected, when he was talking about doing tariffs and making deals and stuff like that, that there would be some short-term pain for the American people that came along with making these decisions that are better in the long run for America, but in the short run kind of hurt us, because sometimes you gotta sacrifice a little bit now so that you're better off later. And that's, I believe, what a lot of these policies domestically that he's implemented have done. But man, you really got to fucking start concentrating on turning that around. There's a lot of people who are hurting right now. There's a lot of job markets that are terrible. There's a lot of people who are not doing very well financially because of price increase and job market being terrible, and how many people are in the job market like driving down the price of labor who aren't supposed to be here, and all of these different things that are going on that add up to like domestic policy kind of sucking. And I think that they really need to fucking double down and focus on domestic agenda. But
Well, then you add into all that too, he keeps endorsing the most retarded rhinos for governor's races and stuff like that now.
yeah, Trump's a little old. I think his first time around, he was sharper. I feel like his first time around, he did things a little better versus this time around. I feel like maybe he's just tired, I don't know. Still better than Kamala, and I stand behind voting for him. And anyone else out there who voted for him, I think that we made the right decision. over Kamala Harris. Because, like, think about this. Kamala Harris, when she was asked about Biden's policies and what she would do differently, what did she say? Oh, I wouldn't do anything differently. I do everything exactly the same. And part of that could have been like sucking up to the boss, or part of that could be that she's a fucking alcoholic fucking whore who doesn't have any ideas of her own and just wants more of the status quo, which would have meant another 14 million illegal aliens into the country, which would have meant another round of civil liberties being eroded away in the name of globalism. You know, a lot of things that have happened under Biden were terrible for the country, and we're reaping the negative benefits of those things currently. So if we had fucking what's her name in office, it would have just been a continuation of all of those programs and things, and we would have been way further down the river, you know? So I don't know. What do you guys think?
It doesn't help either when Trump himself keeps coming out and being like, the data centers are so great and they're perfect for America, and anybody has a problem with them should fuck off, basically.
So there was a mass stabbing in Paris. 2 people were rushed to the hospital after mass stabbing. Suspect shouted, "It's Allah who made me do it."
Ban the knives.
Well, point being, it's not just in America. It's not just in Germany. It's not just in the UK. It's not just here. It's not just Canada. It seems
Apparently,
like
it's not just guns.
it's not just guns. Yeah, you're right. It's the entire fucking world who are letting people into the country who have ideologically alternate views that are not like compatible with Western society. And why did we do that? Well, the excuse is that, well, you see, the birth rates in all of these first world countries have declined to the point where if we don't let a bunch of people in, the economies are going to collapse and things are going to get real bad. It's like, okay, let's look at the welfare usage of these people who you've let in. Let's look at the crime rate of these people who you've let in. Let's look at the terrorism rate of these people who you've let in. Do you really think that we're a better country with all of these people? I mean, some of them are good, you know? Some of them are very good. Some of them own businesses that are legitimate. Some of them work very hard and pay taxes. But the overwhelming majority of them don't do those things. And many of them are actually really bad for society, like this guy.
I saw an interesting one earlier today where it was a back to school thing, and I think it was Atlanta, Georgia. And it was them giving away free stuff to kids that needed it, obviously. Every single person in the line was either an H-1B visa holder or a green card holder that shouldn't be in this country.
Daniel dropped in $5. Thank you, Daniel. And says, Trump's biggest contribution will always be that he knocked down the gates for an outsider to win. Now we just have to wait for the real radical to run. You know, that's another thing that Asmongold's been talking about a lot is like the floodgates have opened. People are starting to change their minds about how they view the world and how they view America and how they view society. And there are going to be, like, as radical as they think that Trump is right now, they haven't seen anything yet. That whoever's coming next, whoever has the actual agenda that's going to, it's going to have to be like the Crusades, you know what I mean? Like something that radical to actually like deal with these issues and this problem. And we haven't seen that person yet. So
I think it'll have to be, honestly, a full-blown constitutional totalitarianism for a little bit. Like basically a dictatorship of constitutionalism.
Well, I mean,
where it's like based on the Bill of Rights specifically.
And it's not like that's unprecedented. I mean, there's a lot of people who are very upset about it and stuff in retrospect, but during World War II, we had Executive Order 9066, which interned all Japanese Americans because we were afraid that because we're at war with Japan and we have Japanese nationals living within the country, that there are potentially people who would do terrorist attacks or spy on us or do all kinds of things. And perhaps that was true. We'll never know. Why? Because they were all interned into camps and they couldn't do anything. So if they weren't in the camps, who knows how bad things would have got. But, and I'm not saying that was the right answer necessarily. Maybe it wasn't. But it's definitely what happened, and it's definitely a precedent that was set. So
you would also have to see some McCarthyism level stuff too, And that was the one thing in McCarthy's time. You know, he tried out communism, but didn't realize everybody around him was a fucking commie.
I don't know. I think right now, like what we're going to run into, at least the next election cycle, is this whole Iran situation's really put a damper on the Republican Party for any potential chance of, that radical constitutionalist to getting in. Because you got a lot of Republicans now that just don't want us to be in any foreign wars, regardless of if Iran has nukes or not. There's a lot of people that don't want us to be over there.
Yeah, and maybe they're not wrong, but it's hard to prove a negative, right? Because, like, you bomb the shit out of Iran, you take away their nuclear program, they're no longer able to do the things that they would have been able to do. What would they have done if not for that? Like, what kind of destruction would the world have wrought if not for us destroying their programs? Like, maybe Tel Aviv wouldn't be a city anymore. Maybe there'd be all kinds of nukes that went on. I mean, look what they're doing with the Strait. That's all they have power to do, and that's all they're fucking doing is bombing the Strait and making sure that ships can't get through. And, I mean, I don't know how long they can keep that up for before we just take the coast or something, or take that little island where they keep launching ships from, or, I don't know, turn the whole thing into a fucking glass parking lot. I'm not sure what we're going to do.
That's what we should have done on 9/12/2001, honestly. Was the entirety of the Middle East should just become a sea of glass.
Dude, Bill Clinton talked about how he should have gone to like done things with Iran that he didn't do because he was afraid of public backlash. So, and he was in the Epstein files. Greg Bavino might run, and he knows what time it is. I don't know who that is. Bavino? Greg Bavino?
That was the dude who ran ICE for a little bit and was doing a good job, honestly, before he got, like, basically shuttered to some other spot or whatever then.
Speaking of Kamala Harris, Kamala just reportedly announced that she's preparing to run for president again in 2028.
She's still an eligible candidate at this point. She has been since the jump. She can't legally run because of the way her parents were foreign nationals at the time of her birth in this country.
Really?
Yeah, she's been illegally running since the whole time. Honestly, she can never hold the presidency or vice presidency because of her family ties. And she even admitted, too, when growing up that she lived in Canada for like 10 years of her life or something like that, so that disqualifies her, too, for that matter.
I just can't wait to hear her drunken ramblings again. Didn't it sound like when she'd get on stage and she'd start talking about stuff that it's like what someone would say if they're just too drunk to fucking make a speech, Like the best man at a wedding who drank a few too many before he fucking got up on stage? That was my impression.
Well, I mean, her whole entire claim to fame started because she was sucking off Willie Brown, which is very ironic given that Willie Brown himself, being a ex-mayor there in California, he actually had direct ties to Jim Jones back in the day.
Dude, she was fucking Arsenio Hall back in the day.
I think that's how she originally got into politics. Well, not into politics, but into Hollywood circles is what it was then.
Who wasn't, though?
She used to be hot. Like, if you look at pictures of her when she used to fucking I don't know. There's a video of her getting into a car with Arsenio Hall on TMZ or something like that. It's like, damn, who's that bitch? And then it turns into this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at her face, it's a lot of that's just alcoholism over the decades. It just takes all those wrinkles to your face and body is what it is.
Just drenched with semen.
Probably that too.
So there's been some new developments with Anthony Fauci and what he knew and when he knew it. I haven't looked into all of it, but basically the TLDR that I've gleaned so far is that before they were making any announcements in the United States about the death rates and about the need for vaccines and lockdowns and everything else that we did, that he knew that the death rate was really low, that he knew a whole bunch of stuff about the virus that you would only know if you were intimately involved with the people who created it in Wuhan labs in China that were funded by U.S. entities through NGOs like USAID, right? Plausible deniability, all that stuff. But then he wrote it all down in his fucking diary. Thankfully, he got exonerated by the Biden administration by the auto pen before Biden left office, though, right? So now he can't be actually charged with any of these things unless we prove that it was done by the auto pen without Biden's explicit knowledge, in which case all of those pardons would be null and void, and then we can go after his ass. So I hope they'd start there and do that. But I don't know what you do otherwise.
I don't think they're going to go after him either way. I
I mean, if
mean, they got the MC client list, and they haven't touched any of that.
You got a point.
If you could actually prove the 2020 voter fraud, you could actually say everything that Biden ever did was null and void.
Well, I mean, the excuse, and I don't agree with this, actually. I've thought about this deeply. At first, I was kind of like, oh, I get that. That kind of makes sense. Like, why didn't they go after a bunch of people who were on the Epstein list? And the answer given is that if you do, the economy will collapse because these people who are on the list hold the reins of power in different industries in different ways that basically they have decided that if you take me down, I'm taking the world down with me. And therefore, we really can't take these people down because they're going to destroy the U.S. economy if we do. And I'm like, yeah, like I don't want to destroy the U.S. economy. Think about how many people are going to be bad off because of that. But then I'm like, you're just exacerbating the problem because you're allowing these people who are obviously fucking corrupt, who are obviously been compromised, to continue doing the things that they are allowed to do or forced to do or whatever the case may be because they're compromised. And we're going to allow them to continue to be compromised and that the status quo is not going to change and the world's going to keep going down the path that it's on. I honestly think that a lot of this mass immigration into first world countries, think about this. There's not one first world country besides China or Poland, those are the two exceptions, that isn't currently taking in mass amounts of third world migrants because of population reductions and whatever reason that they're coming up with. But it seems like it's a plan. It seems like it's a system that they're implementing in order to downfall all of these first world countries and make them into second or third world countries so that the whole world could go under one world government and be controlled by one central power, which has always been the goal. That's been the goal since before World War I. That's been the goal since Napoleon when the Rothschild family bought up the Bank of England. So I think 1776 was when the Illuminati was formed. And then there was that guy who was a messenger for the Illuminati, and this is true, was riding on a horse from one place to another with plans, like 100-year, 200-year plans for what they were trying to implement, which included a lot of things like World War I and World War II, like 100 years before it happened, which is crazy to think about, was riding on his horse from one fucking Illuminati place to another, like from France to Germany or something like that. I can't remember the exact details, but he was struck by lightning and died. And then someone found this courier dead on the fucking road, looked at the papers that he had and realized what it was. And now we know about it. Like that's how we know about a lot of this stuff is because that guy died fucking 200 years ago. And fucking it's crazy what has come to fruition. And we'll do a whole chat on that sometime. I'll pull all that stuff up if you guys want me to. But that alone is pretty fucking insane. But it seems like it's a plan to basically conquer the world and put it under the thumb of a small group of people, if not one person.
Well, it's always been about power and control for these sick fuckers because it's the one thing they have left at this point, honestly. It's exactly why you see people like George Soros still being alive because they've gotten like 18 different heart transplants or something like that.
Or look at like Bohemian Grove. That was a whole thing for like the longest time, and then that I think just got transferred over to a different location. It never went away.
Well, Alex Jones infiltrated that in 1999 and made a video about it, about them sacrificing the effigy of a child to Moloch, the fucking owl god. And these are all rich and powerful people who were there together in robes, wearing masks, like diddling fucking people who were paid to be there because they're attractive and young and fucking all of the different shit, dude. All of the different shit. It's been going on under our noses this entire time. And certain
Still
people
going on.
have known about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's still going on. It has not stopped. It's still going on every year.
Right, because the media is owned too, and if it's not on CNN, there's a bunch of boomers who won't believe it. There's a bunch of people like fucking what's his name, Terry Davis, who were like, "Well, I didn't see that on CNN, so therefore it's not real." Like, how do you fucking convince those people? You don't. You just ignore them. But there's enough of them out there to put doubt in the system to make it so that things never really actually change.
Well, it's like the same thing with like spirit cooking and stuff like that. That's the same kind of shit there. You also have what's the other one? Like witchcraft and broadcasting and stuff like that is another big one.
Night Strike smited his ass. Well, that could be one of those like living in a simulation things where it's like the devs wanted us to know, and so they struck him down with lightning. All right, here we have Muslim suspect yesterday's vehicle ramming attack in Berlin. Abdul Bailout has been shot and killed by police after a manhunt earlier today, but the story here is truly insane. The jihadist was born in Berlin to Middle Eastern Shia invader parents. He was deported for being a jihadist. He was then arrested by German authorities while overseas and brought back to Germany for trial. He was convicted for plotting jihadist attacks in Germany as part of an ongoing holy war in May of 2026, but was released back into the streets after promising to attend de-radicalization classes. Within a couple of months, he funded and then executed this week's attack that killed one person and injured over 30 people in Berlin. No word on what cool-ass German gun the police... Okay. Did they kill him with an MP5? I don't know.
You know how you de-radicalize Islam? With a lead salad.
Lead poisoning. I like it. Anyway, like, he got deported. They brought him back for trial because he was planning a fucking jihadist attack. And they're like, oh, we'll let you out as long as you promise to go to these classes so that we can teach you to be a good German. And now 30 people are maimed and one is killed. Wasn't it a fucking gay pride parade too?
I think so. And the craziest one was there was, I saw a video, I think it was yesterday. It was some trans person who was trying to be like, oh, I hope it was a white Christian and not some Islamic terrorist.
Do you know who warned us about all of this years ago? The what do you call the head of, like, the king of Saudi Arabia went on TV and said, hey, all of you Western countries who are importing all of these Islamic people into your countries, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know, because like they're very brutal over there, right? Like the way that they implement laws, there's not like the Western civilization way of like putting people through trials and giving them years of appeals and second chances and releasing them to promise to do classes and all this stuff. They just chop your fucking head off and then charge your family if you want the body. You know what I mean? Like they don't give a fuck.
Well,
It's
that's why
very
Dubai
brutal.
is like that's why Dubai is such a safe country, because every criminal, they mean, oh, you're a thief. We're just gonna chop your hands off. Can't steal stuff if you don't have fingers.
That's exactly what we need to be doing here, honestly, with these fucking people.
And we're not we as a society won't accept that because that's too like we're not ready for that level of brutality. You know, like we don't want that for our children and for our people. But
Speak for yourself.
We let all of these people into the country who see that as weakness, who see that as an opportunity to get whatever they want, who see that as an opportunity to forward their Islamic terrorist agenda because that's what the Quran tells them to do. And they're going to do it, and they're going to continue to do it. And we were warned by the king of Saudi Arabia that this is exactly what would happen on an increasing basis. And we're seeing more and more and more of these attacks. And it's just going to continue and continue. And you're going to have these like queers for Palestine who come out and make excuses and fucking, you know, do all the things that they're doing. While if they actually went to Palestine, they'd be fucking thrown off a building. So it's just, it's what's the word? Suicidal empathy. Yeah, that's it.
You remember the episode of Game of Thrones where the mountain rips the guy's head off from his body?
Yeah, that was crazy. And then all
Yeah.
the other dudes are like, never
Needs to
mind,
be done to a lot of these motherfuckers.
we're good. Okay, this one made me upset. We don't have to watch the whole thing. But this guy is walking through the streets of Minneapolis with a camera and an American flag. Let's see what happens to him.
Damn. I can't come down here and just like observe?
Who said that?
I'm just saying.
You just saying what?
I'm just saying that.
You just saying what?
I just said that.
Get your dumb ass on. You
Okay.
come to start problems. That's what you're trying to do.
I didn't start no problems.
I'm educated, not have guns.
I got a fucking flag, bro. I got a flag. That's what I got. I got a flag. If I get shot over a flag, that looks bad on you. Everybody's so mad about American flags.
My neighborhood dog. My neighborhood dog.
Yep. Call the police. Call the police.
So he just rolled up on him with a
Call
gun.
police.
It's hard to see, but the guy had a gun in his hand.
This shit hurts my heart, man.
See, this is the part that gets me.
I can't even sit here without feeling like I gotta roll my fucking window up and lock my door because somebody walks by. It's a fucking disgrace. No one can fucking have kids safe down here, especially if you're white, I guess. This shit's a joke. What the fuck has this state come to? I look around every day, I'm like, there's so much exposing I can fucking do. This is a play place for any content creator. I can't get to anything that I want to. There's so much.
What crime is this guy committing? I mean, he's just a white guy walking down the street with an American flag.
Anyway, you guys get the point. The guy wasn't doing anything. He's just walking down the street with a flag and a camera. And people are walking up and accosting him because to them, the American flag means all kinds of things that are, you know, whatever antithetical to their positions of we want to overthrow the society and it's racist and it's got this history of slavery and all of these things that have been pounded into people's heads over the years. You got this lady who got convicted for a crime for calling someone the N-word, you know, like all of this shit, like Minneapolis, like Minnesota in general. And I'm sorry, Mr. Hatred, that you live there and that you have to deal with some of this stuff, but I wonder what your position is on it, or like what's your experience with this whole thing is since you live there.
I mean, hence the name Hatred, I think. Yeah, no, I mean, I think there are a lot of white folks here that are very like integrated into the system and they don't put up with a lot. They just don't. They all have lived here and dealt with harsh times and it's a harsh world here. And yeah, no, I mean, being brown myself, like it is tough sometimes to like get people to see past just skin color and like the way that I present myself. They're very they're Finnish people. There's a lot of Finnish and Irish people here. They're very closed in. They're not very vocal. So you know, it takes a minute to get used to me for sure. But people are opening up. I mean, things are opening up for me now. Finally, I've been here a year now. But yeah, the first time I moved here, it was really awful. Now things have mellowed out a lot. As far as what you're talking about and all that other stuff goes on, like that's really sad. Like there are neighborhoods in not so much a city I'm in, but definitely in like the Twin Cities and stuff where you have a whole neighborhood of just Somalis or a whole neighborhood of, you know, just Palestinian people, just Muslims, you know, and like they're not gonna like put up with an American flag. And that to me is not okay. Obviously, I'm an American, but you're talking about whole communities that are just embedded into the foundation of society here, you know, and then you have a bunch of natives too. And that's a whole different world right there. So yeah, I find it to be sad that, you know, a white dude can't walk down while videotaping. I mean, if that's a First Amendment audit, he's going to fail just right off the bat because of the people that he's trying to audit. And he's not even necessarily against them. They don't even know because they don't give him a chance. And that's not fair.
This is what I've been saying for about 5 years or so now. And this is the issue when you have unchecked immigration continuously with no downtimes, because you have these entire subsets that are creating entire small communities, whether it be little Somalia, whether it be little Haiti, whether it be little Mexico, whatever it is, doesn't matter. These people will create these 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 square blocks, whatever it is they live in. They'll never leave them. They, a lot of cases, refuse to learn English because of that. And it just goes into this whole shit show, basically. And it's created this divide in our nation so much to where we're not a homogenous country anymore, is what it is.
So that's real. That's real. And I just want to say one more thing. Like My mom, she gets food stamps, and her food stamps in Oregon compared to here are dramatic. And I'll just say her food stamps here are about like $24, right? And the government doesn't even want to give her $24 here because that's what she gets. Meanwhile, you've got, a family who might be Somalian or they might be, I don't care what they are, but they're going to get, hundreds of dollars to spend because they have 4 kids. And it's like, one, they don't prove that they have 4 kids. Where's the proof that they have 4 kids? They're just marking 4 and getting the money for it. So I don't agree with those things. And that's where I think there needs to be some stricter policies there. I don't agree with, the Dems on that sort of thing. That's hard. My mom's getting $24. At least she can eat $24 in 1 week. Come on.
Dude, like, I think if you've lived here your entire life, you've paid into the system, you've worked for years, you've paid taxes, you've raised children, you've lived in the society, all of that things, and now you're at the point where you need food stamps because you're getting older and you need some welfare, Medicare type shit. That's what it's fucking for. That's why I pay taxes. That's why everyone here pays taxes, and they're 100% okay with that. When it's someone who got here a week ago or a month ago or 5 years ago, and they've been living for 5 years on Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SNAP, fucking, all of the benefits that you get when you have kids, all that stuff, and they haven't worked and they haven't paid taxes, that's not what it's for. Like my great-grandparents moved here from the old country. There was no social network, social fucking safety net back then. And they came through Ellis Island. They did all of the things that you have to do to come into the country and become a legal citizen. They didn't teach their children, my grandparents, how to speak Slovakian, which, they wanted them to learn English. They wanted them to go to English school and integrate and become American. A lot of people who came over here and went through the Ellis Island program got into America and decided it's too fucking hard to live here, and they went back. A lot of people don't talk about that. About 30 or 40% of the people who came through Ellis Island ended up going back to their home countries because it was fucking hard here, So the ones who made it were like the tough ones. Our ancestors, my ancestors, were the ones who were fucking tough enough to figure shit out, get their shit together, pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and make a better life for their children on their own back, not on society's back. But it seems like the people who are coming into the country today are more than willing to take advantage of every system and every program and every fucking dollar that they can get, and then mock people and fucking tear down your American flag when you're walking through the streets and threaten you and, do all the things that they're doing. And it's fucking infuriating. It's fucking infuriating.
That's exactly what it was. Like I said, going back to the thing with Atlanta there, all these people that were going there and getting all these free school supplies for their kids that were here on H-1B visas or whatever it was, they were literally bragging about stealing from our system is what it is. They were like, fuck America, we're going to take everything we can, fuck you guys. And that is what fucking infuriates me as well.
And let me hit this super chat from Daniel real quick. He's talking about this guy chasing him down with the car. Exactly why you should carry. Call him a hard R, and then send him to Night Strike. And if you guys don't know, Night Strike, we used to make fun of him. He was a regular on the show and other shows that I was on. We would make fun of him for being God because he would be like, "I'm not God," and get all mad about it. So we're like, okay, don't anger God. Anyway, yeah, how is that working out for Chud the Builder? Anyone know what's going on with that situation? You know about that? What?
As far as I'm aware, he's still sitting in prison right now.
So he made bail for the charge that he got for he's claiming self-defense. They're claiming murder or attempted murder, right? Because the guy didn't die, but they're claiming attempted murder. He's claiming a self-defense. They set his bail at some ridiculous fucking amount of money, and then usually you have to pay 10% of the bail. They made him pay 50%. He paid it, and then they have him on some other like petty charge of walking out on a tab when they kicked him out of a restaurant, and then he didn't pay for his appetizers. And they're not even allowing him to get in front of a judge to like make bail in the first place with that. So he's been in prison since this has happened. Like there's definitely a two-tier justice system when it comes to America, especially if and when you use that word while you're defending yourself. Like, if anything, you should not use that word ever for that exact reason. Or we just all use it all the time and just fucking desensitize it. I don't know, bro. Like, go one way or the other, but the way things aren't very good.
I
don't
could
know.
see Shiloh Hendrick's lawyer actually successfully suing the state of Minnesota for civil rights violations quite a bit.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, it's not good to be calling kids the N-word and doing all that stuff, even if they're
That's the thing,
stealing
though, right? There's no
applesauce out of
proof
your
that
bag.
she actually said that was what it is. There's no video evidence of that. The only
And
video
she
evidence of
wasn't
that.
convicted of that. She was convicted of
Exactly.
calling the guy who came up to her recording her that. But anyway, put the shoe on the other foot. There's a white kid who's at a playground who steals applesauce out of a black mom's purse, and then she calls him a cracker. Is there any court in the United States that would convict her of a crime?
No.
So, therefore, there's a two-tier justice system that needs to be looked at. Therefore, it's not fair. And I'm not saying that, again, I'm not saying like go around calling people the N-word or start fights with people because they're black or anything like that.
But can
But
we
I
call
am
him
saying
Cracker? Is that
Well,
okay?
the thing is, too, why was a convicted Somali pedophile at a children's park to begin with that day?
And why is he no longer in the country? Anyway, that's all separate and different. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. So we'll just kind of move on from that because fuck. I don't know what to say. Denver Police Department has a policy for the past 2 years to limit pulling drivers over for minor infractions. Now City Council wants to make it permanent.
Jesus.
And I said, this is a terrible idea to not only make this your policy, but to announce it to the world so they know. So now everyone in Denver is going to be like, well, I don't need insurance and I don't need to have a license plate on my car. So when I rear end you and injure your child, there's no safety net so that we can pay for his medical bills. There's no fucking accountability for anyone who's breaking laws where someone actually does get hurt, right? Because you basically said to everybody, like, yeah, if you're, a little drunk, we don't care. You're speeding a little bit, we don't care. You don't have insurance, we don't care. Well, all of this shit's going to lead to negative ramifications for law-abiding citizens who are just trying to make it to work or make it home or do whatever they're doing, And that's fucking bloody fucking obvious to me. But whatever. What's up, Kaloon?
Howdy. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right, my
right.
internet's been messed up, so that's why I'm just coming in here now. Hopefully I don't drop out.
So here's what you have to do in Colorado as of August 1st. So in like 4 days, if you want to buy a semi-automatic magazine detachable gun. Are you ready? Register in the new state system. Find and pay a place to conduct a special name-based background check, even though there is no statewide vendor network and many sheriffs do not know where to send you. Bring your results of the background check to your government ID to the sheriff. Pay Colorado Parks and Wildlife $52. Pay the sheriff another fee and wait for an eligibility card. Find a state trooper instructor to take a class and pay $200 to $500. Give up 12 hours of your life in at least 2 separate days. Pass a government exam with 90%. Wait for your results to be entered into a database. Finally, go to a gun store and have a dealer verify that you're in the database. Undergo another background check. Pay the taxes, including Colorado's 6.5% excess tax. Wait 3 days before bringing the firearm home. So if you want a gun and you don't already have one, there's a 12-step program, kind of like alcoholism. And to that I said, holy shit, Colorado's going full fucking retard. Which is true. Never go
I'm
full
willing to
retard.
bet every single piece of that piece of shit legislation is all bought and paid for by Bloomberg.
And it will also
not-
be overthrown because it's all unconstitutional, because it's
Yes.
all an infringement on the Second Amendment, which has been shown in the Supreme Court multiple times that you can't do shit like this. And yet liberal bastions like Colorado keep doing it anyway. And then it's implemented for a couple of years while they wait for the courts to fight about it. And then as soon as the courts win and it's all struck down, they just come up with another fucking Ponzi scheme. So it's all bullshit, dude, and it pisses me off. And it makes me glad that I already bought a bunch of shit because whatever.
I was thinking the other day about infringements on the Second Amendment. How is anything relating to guns, ammunition, or gun parts taxable in this country?
Not sure. I mean, I guess you could make an argument of just sales tax is locally enforced, and it's not anything having to do with infringing upon your Second Amendment rights. It's just the state collecting taxes so that it can do stuff. But if it's like an extrajudicial tax, where it's like in Colorado, where they're like, oh, well, you got to pay the taxes, and then you got to also pay a 6.5% increased tax because you're buying a gun. You're right.
That should be illegal.
And
I don't see
Daniel
how
dropped in
it's
a
not.
super chat. Thank you, Daniel. It says, all because they legalized weed. You know what it was? It wasn't because we legalized weed. It's because we legalized weed first.
Mm-hmm.
If we'd been the 5th state or the 10th state or whatever to do it, people wouldn't have moved here in droves. The wrong kind of people wouldn't have moved here like they did. Our population wouldn't have increased so precipitously in such a short amount of time, increasing things like rent and decreasing things like the cost of labor, making it harder to do and live in Colorado, and all of the negative ramifications, you know? And then you have like how many people who've come into the, like, we used to be a purple state. We used to go red, we used to go blue. You don't know what Colorado's going to do. Now we're straight fucking blue all the way through. We've got literal communists like running for office and winning in Colorado against the governor's wishes, by the way, who's technically a Democrat, but he's also technically a libertarian. So I kind of have mixed feelings about him. But yeah, dude, shit's fucked. Shit is fucked. Dude, check this out. 6-year-olds racing on MotoGP.
Cooper Jazikoff able to get around Marcus Sue.
Isn't this cool?
Coming up on more traffic.
I wish
This
I
is
had
where
money for this
Marcus
when
was
my
able
kids
to
were
make
little.
the pass
I would have
stick
totally been
earlier.
like, go Jack! Oh my God.
I bet all the other
Everybody
first
on
graders think
second-year-old
they're so
rider having to
cool.
go back to his brother that
Oh yeah,
already
you're the
won
coolest kid in first
earlier
grade.
today.
If you're showing up to fucking first, second grade, like with your race
Marcus
leathers in your
Jr.
backpack because you
not
got to go
close
to
enough.
practice after school.
Yeah,
He wants
you'd
to,
own
though.
that daggum first grade.
You
You'd be
get
the
all the
coolest one there.
chicks. All the chicks will be on you.
The woman doing commentary reminds me of the people that do Little
Cheering
League commentary.
At the line, coming to the stripe. Who's it gonna be? It's a drag
That's cool.
race with the head bobbing. Cooper Jazikoff able to take the checkered flag.
His name's
Marcus-
Jazikoff. Fuck yeah.
How much does it cost to do something like that? That's pretty cool.
Those race leathers are probably $400 or $500. Those bikes are probably 5,000-6,000. Plus, you got to like tote the kid around and bring him to different tracks. The tracks are going to charge you $100 a day. Like it's expensive. It's not going to be
Yeah.
cheap.
All right, so a rich man's sport. Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, no sports are cheap anymore these days. Just even
No,
to get like
it's
a
so
bat
true.
and stuff for baseball is like a couple $100 now.
A couple hundred. No, one bat is $400. They sell bats. One bat's $400. The helmet 60, 70. The pads and everything that goes with it probably another $100. Yeah, no, it's super expensive. And the glove, $400 for a really good glove.
Jesus.
$100 for an okay glove. You know, anything less than $100 is, you know, bare minimum. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then there's
So you're
parents.
better.
Well, there's parents that are paying for 2 sports. So like up here, you have soccer, baseball, and then hockey's a big one, and skates.
Mhm.
Yeah, fuck, it's insane.
Track and field and baseball.
There was a study done a couple years ago that actually ranked like the highest, like how much you pay per sport or whatever, and it was like I think hockey was like near the top. I know martial arts I think was in the middle someplace.
It's pretty pricey. I mean, just working where I work, I get to see that. So try to help people out as much as I can. Families, anyway, not random people.
So, oh, good.
Honda, really quick. I'm sorry. I gotta head out. I gotta go take my Swedish bath now. So I'm gonna take care of my situation. So,
Well, good luck with Eduardo.
Yeah, thank you. His name is Carlos.
Carlos, sorry, I forgot what his name was.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm gonna take care of that. If you guys are still on, I'll jump back on. Hey, good night, guys, and I hope you all have a blessed week.
Excellent. I hope you're better too, man.
Thank you. Bye.
So, Colorado anti-violence activist convicted of killing a man at child's birthday party 2 years ago to avenge the death of his son, who was sentenced to more than 50 years in prison by Adams County judge. So this guy was an anti-violence protester or activist rather, whose son got murdered. And so he shows up to the birthday party 2 years later or something of someone who was involved in the death of his son and murdered somebody there.
So he eye for an item.
Did his son
irony
get,
is palatable.
Did his son get like murdered, or was it like gang violence when he died of results of messing around and finding out?
You know exactly what I know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So here's the Laken Riley, or no, what's her name?
Shiloh Hendricks.
Who the fuck is Laken Riley?
Laken Riley was the girl in, I believe, Georgia who was murdered by the illegal alien where she was going to school and she fought him off for like 30 minutes or whatever before he killed her.
Yeah, that's right. So let's read this real quick. Let's walk through America's justice system, shall we? Shamarik Omar is a Somali man who filmed Shyla Hendricks on the playground in Minnesota in April of 2025. On January 2022, he and another Somali man allegedly spent 2 days raping an underage foster care runaway in a trailer and keeping her falsely imprisoned. In March 2025, all charges were dismissed in the interest of justice, quote unquote. Weeks later, in April 2025, he turned on his camera phone and at the playground of a young Somali thief attempting to steal from a white woman and began haranguing her, that white mom, for having said the N-word. Omar demanded that Hendricks repeat the word on camera, which she did 4 times, while Omar himself said the word 5 times in a less than 1 minute video. 4 long months later, multiple disorderly conduct charges were maliciously brought against Shyla Hendricks for the playground incident in which she was only a victim. And Shamik Omar was the videographer. Then last night, Shyla Hendricks was convicted of specifically for saying the N-word to Shamik Omar after he demanded she say it while he himself repeatedly said it. Her sentence is $1,000 fine and 200 hours of community service. So it's not really that big of a deal, but still, it's a big deal. By the way, Shamik Omar was never called to testify in the Hendricks trial. But don't worry, that's not all the justice we have in store for today. Just keep the substance of the Shiloh crime as well as your sentence in mind as we move forward. Rewind to April 2020 when Shamik Omar, our favorite Somali videographer, along with another Somali friend, separate from the alleged co-raper, committed violent assault in the street. Omar threw a rock at a car and then assaulted and beat a 16-year-old driver. A bystander tried to intervene, but Omar's accomplice threatened him with a knife. For this, Omar was charged with merely disorderly conduct. Yes, for hurling deadly weapons at a vehicle and then beating a teenage driver while his criminal pal held off onlookers at knife point. Omar faces the exact same charge Shiloh Hendricks did for saying a word Omar asked her to say. And as she held her child in her arms and fled the playground before Omar could assault her too. So, there's way more there. You get the gist.
My understanding is when it came to the girl that he raped, they let her age out of the foster care system, and then she basically went to another state, and that's why they dropped the charges against this piece of shit ass.
Right, because she wasn't in the state anymore to testify against him, and then after that, he left the country. He now is back in Somalia, wherein he did a GoFundMe for this whole situation and raised like $600,000, which in fucking Somalia might as well be like 60 million. I'm assuming. Anyway.
I don't get how just having her not available to testify justifies them dropping charges. I mean, if he had killed her, she wouldn't be there to testify.
Because it's in Minnesota, and Minnesota has very liberal judges who want to make any excuse that they can to let anybody off who is a immigrant from these countries, these third world fucking Muslim countries, because they don't want the news stories. They don't want to upset people. They don't want that in the media. You know, they want that swept under the carpet so that they can continue on with life like nothing happened.
And the judge in Shiloh's case is a known bitch that loves to give light sentences to convicted repeat offenders.
And I bet if someone like you, Honda, was accused of something similar, not saying you would do that, but I doubt that they would let the charges get dropped just because the victim moved out of state.
I'm gonna say it was worth the $1K, says Daniel, for $2. Daniel. As far as I understand, she did a GoFundMe too and got $1 million. So I think she's doing okay. But still, it's a miscarriage of justice because basically we're supposed to have freedom of speech in this country. And if you can't say the N-word, you don't have freedom of speech, do you? Especially if one person can say the N-word and nothing happens to them, and another person says the N-word and gets charges filed against them.
After he told her to say it.
He said it more than she did.
Well, the thing with Shiloh's cases, too, is a lot of her Gibson Go was a direct result of Carmelo Anthony killing Austin Metcalf.
Right, which is another case of, like, here's a bunch of racist black people who hate white people who are willing to jump on the bandwagon at any chance that they can to fucking throw some money at a murderer because they murdered a white kid. It's sad, bro. It almost feels like we're being pushed to a race war. It almost feels like this is intentional. Like they're trying to push people to the point where white people are going to go out in the streets and actually do something, and then they can implement laws and do all the other things that they're planning on doing. It seems very intentional what's going on right now.
I think honestly the powers that shouldn't be are trying to send us to a purge event.
They would, well.
Well, if we're fighting each other, we're certainly not fighting them, are we?
I don't necessarily think it has to be anything more than the self-imposed social, like Marxist dichotomy of the people that they perceive as the people in power versus the people that are oppressed. And so they punish people by the way that their immutable characteristics, not by their action.
Well, then you can also... they went after fucking what's his name?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes, thank you. Like they didn't get him, but they tried really hard, and they fucking certainly crucified him in the media to the point where today, if you ask a black person about Kyle Rittenhouse, they think he murdered 3 black people. So, whatever. Jack Smith, former special prosecutor under Biden who led investigation into Trump, has been referred to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution for allegedly lying to Congress about texts he obtained from more than 40 congressmen. Good. I think that's only the tip of the iceberg. I think a lot of the things that he did as special prosecutor, which as far as I understand was never legally gone through the normal process of appointing a special prosecutor, because they're supposed to have opposing counsel so that you have some sort of a oppositional fucking thing going on, but they didn't do that. They just had partisans who were all working together to go after Republicans and for January 6th people and everything else that they were doing. So fuck that. String them up by the ball sack, drown them in 6 inches of water.
Speaking of people being called to testify, aren't they calling Fauci back to testify after his diary leaked? I don't know if you heard some of that stuff that was in there.
Yeah, we talked about that already because you were late.
Oh.
But yeah, that is happening too. Although we were saying he's got immunity because of Biden. So unless they can figure out a way around that or figure out a way to reverse that, then nothing's going to happen.
He can perjure himself if he doesn't plead the Fifth. He might be guilty of perjuring himself back then if they can prove that what he said was wrong.
The Justice Department is suing Colorado, claiming state laws that provide in-state tuition and some financial aid to undocumented students violate the Constitution. So, like CU Boulder and other state institutions of higher education have been giving in-state tuition to people from undocumented countries, undocumented people from other countries, as if they're in-state tuition students. Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to the same mentality. They see the illegal immigrant as the oppressed class, so they need to have special treatment at the expense of everyone else who are the oppressors. It's how they view every fucking thing.
Totally nothing to doubt here. Just in, Jeffrey Epstein linked model recruiter Daniel Sade found dead in his home in France. That's weird.
That is France.
I think that's all of our stories. Because I think we talked about this one last week. The Denver's oldest tiny home village has closed. So yeah. That's where we started last week.
There was a Democrat Socialists of America have come out now and openly called for an end of the Constitution.
Yeah, they want to get rid of the Senate, abolish the Senate, which I don't think you can do without like a what do you call it? I think all the states have to agree to that. I think it has to be unanimous for that particular one to amend the Constitution.
Like a constitutional convention of sorts or something.
Yeah, if you did that, I think someone was saying that to change that, particularly in the Constitution, it would have to be unanimous.
Leo's out in the chat. Did I not send you a link? I swear you're on the list still.
There is, if we ever had a constitutional convention again, it would be, I think,
Leo, you have a link. I don't know why the fuck you're in the chat and not here. Sorry, go ahead.
If we had to have another constitutional convention in this country, it would have to be like 38 states or something they have to get together.
Dude, if we had another constitutional fucking convention in this country, it'd be absolutely fucking retarded. They'd fuck everything up. They would take us back to the goddamn Stone Ages because there's too many fucking faggot retards who have to throw their 2 cents in, and fucking too many cooks are gonna fucking ruin the soup. We had a really good constitution because geniuses who were willing to put their lives and their liberty and their fucking fortune on the line decided to draw a fucking line in the sand against the most powerful fucking tyrannical government of the time and fucking happened to win. There's no chance, 0% chance that if we do that again, it's going to end up with anything good. Period. So get that shit out of your head. It's not a good idea.
I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying that's what it would take to get it done. That's why it would never happen.
It's not a good idea.
You triggered Honda.
No, because it's honestly, it's stupid. Like, people keep saying that shit, and I'm like, why don't you war game that shit out in your head real quick and see how it turns out? Because it's not going to be good. It's not going to be what you want at all. Not even close. Here,
I
real
agree
quick.
that it's almost impossible to make it happen.
No, it's impossible with the people that we have in charge and in positions of power and the fucking debates that we have going on in modern colleges and like these intellectuals who have come forward with ideas of tearing down the fucking patriarchy and everything else that they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the absolute worst time in history to have a constitutional convention in this country because they would destroy the Constitution and come up with something far fucking worse. Far fucking worse. Anyway, check this out. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I got one downstairs. That's how many motorcycles I've owned now. Isn't that cool? I got a fucking collection going. I actually agree with the commies. Ask Honda how much the Constitution is protecting him on August 4th. Come August 4th. Oh, are you talking about the?
Yeah, I think about August 1st.
August 1st, yeah, with the whole Colorado implementing fucking gun law bullshit. It's ridiculous, dude. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay, well, we've been going an hour and 40 minutes, which is about 10 minutes longer than we normally go for the Gay Frog chat. Sorry, I got a little heated there at the very end, but that shit just needed to be said. Love you guys. Yeah, dude, 300 fucking episodes. Congratulations to all the people who were from Yankees chat who were still here. I want you to fucking think about the substance of the chat that Yankee had and what he talked about and did versus the substance of this chat that we just had and talked about. Compare and contrast and see who has more information and messaging and, you know, worked harder to bring forward this information for all of you guys, because if you do, you're going to fucking come to a very clear conclusion. So eat my dick, suck a dick, you fucking faggot fucks. Have a nice night. And to the rest of you, thank you for being here for the 300th episode of the Gay Frog Chat. We're going to continue this next week, episode 301. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we'll be back here again. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we leave?
Yeah, in September, we will officially have been friends for 6 years on these chats.
Crazy. 6 years, dude. We're getting old.
Yep.
I've been around the sun 44 times now. You got anything, Calhoun?
Man, that is old. I just wanted to say that Yankees chats are not entertaining or informational.
But I
seems
want a
like
knife.
every time I try to watch them, it's like an old man getting confused at the comment section.
I somehow I dropped in $5 to promote the show tonight, which I don't normally do. And I want a knife out from underneath all of these other Yankee sycophants who put money in the chat all the time. So I kind of feel like a Somalian, you know, who just like got into the system yesterday and then like
You won the
started
knife?
fucking getting like health care. all these benefits.
That's funny. You don't even like knives.
No, I don't. I even said that in the chat.
I'll take it if
that
you
was
don't
the
want
best part. It was like, I don't even like knives. Fuck you guys. All right, guys. Well, deuces, y'all. Shot that pee in the fridge. Trouba to Shabba to Nabba to Pressure. Batacath Care. Prick the troops. 2 words made in America. And we'll see you all next time. Deuces.